Hey, we want to ask you a quick thing about the Dodgers because I know that you only have a limited amount of time left here. The Dodgers thing that's going on right now with the whole contracts and the deferred contracts and everything like that. What are you, so the question is, and I think I know your answer to this, but the question is, do you think it's right, and do you think that the why aren't the other teams doing it?
Because the other teams aren't as smart as they are,
It's
and
also,
and, they're not, and honestly, you're never going to convince me that all 30 teams are trying to win a championship.
yeah,
My opinion, and you prove me wrong, is that unless you're owned by one guy, one family that's going to get into a dick measuring contest with somebody at the trade deadline,
yeah,
the Illiches, the Steinbrenners of the world, the O'Malleys. If your team is owned by a major corporation, they're not actually trying to win.
yeah,
They are quite literally employing an algorithm that basically gives the impression that they're trying to win, that they're spending enough money to keep fan base engaged, to think that you're going to win, to think that you're gonna try. I really felt bad, but I couldn't help but giggle a little bit when the Blue Jays fans got all geeked up about Ohtani.
well, we were two of them, so yes.
I'm sorry that you guys got yourself all excited. I can tell you this.
We were tracking the plane.
Yeah, yeah. Just like my daughter tracks Santa. Let me just, and she just walked in. So let me tell you something. I'll get rid of the mystery for all Blue Jays fans.
Okay.
You are never going to sign a top 1, 2, or 3 free agent ever. And here's why. A, they can't pay him enough money. B, nobody wants to live there. Because what you do when you become a free agent and you sign that big deal, you put down roots in the community.
Yeah.
You spend money, you buy a big house, open a foundation. Trust me when I tell you, nobody's signing up in that market to pay 51% of their income to the government of Ontario. And then we get
you moved out of Canada now, right?
the drama teacher as prime minister. Then we can move.
Oh, don't get us started on Trudeau. We can go for another hour.
But I think it sucks because you guys know I loved living there.
Yeah.
But I'm not trying to. I wasn't trying to navigate $100 million contract there.
Yeah. You were enjoying life in Toronto, probably at the lake and like all those kinds of things, right?
Yeah, I had a blast. I had an absolute blast. I mean, when I finally left there, I left a giant house in Mississauga right on the Credit River at probably the perfect off ramp from being away from the city. I was just far enough out of the city that I could still get there in 15 minutes, when I needed to. And I adored living there. Toronto used to be my favorite place on earth.
Yeah.
But you're never going to see a blue chip free agent sign there. It's just it's financially reckless.
Yeah.
And unless the team has already won a championship or knocking on the door to win another one, there's no attraction to being there.
Yeah. So we have
really have is develop from within and try to sprinkle in guys at the trade deadline.
So we have the exact same scenario here in Winnipeg with the NHL team, the Winnipeg Jets, where we're a small market team and we can't attract a lot of big name players.
Yeah.
And then we're just trying to draft and develop is the exact term we use here, and then sprinkle a few free agents at the end. And this year we're actually first or second overall in the league. So you're saying the Toronto Blue Jays have become a small market team in today's day and age?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, they've tried like hell to turn it into New York City when it was just fine the way it was, but they are a small market team because not only that, but the exchange rate makes them a small market team.
That's a tough thing right now. Yeah.
Up. They're earning in Canadian and paying in US.
Yeah, that sucks.
So until they develop the core, I mean, and then here's another one. Ask yourself this question: you don't think that they tried to lock Bichette and Junior up to extensions?
Yeah,
their agents should be laughed out of the union if they allowed them to do that. If I was their agent, I wouldn't give the Blue Jays 1 second of my free agency. I'll go year to year until it's my turn to make the decision.
Yeah, and Bichette signed a 3-year last year, so we got 3 years left of Bichette, and I think that he's gone after that. And we got 1 more year of arbitration after this year, I think, with Guerrero. And there's a lot of guys that just signed the 1 year this year, so the team will look very different in 2 years.
Yeah, it's just but it's not their fault. It really isn't. But
it's the economy and everything too.
It is, but when you go back and you look at baseball in general, with the profit sharing, the luxury tax or thresholds and all that stuff, unless teams do smart and spend money on players, which a lot of them don't.
Yeah.
Especially the welfare babies at the other end of the spectrum, they just put the money in their pocket. They don't spend money on players. They don't get better, and that's been the biggest complaint about it for years. I'm like, there's an algorithm. Spend just enough to make it look like you're trying.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, raise the price of season tickets with the cost of living.
Do you think that the Major League Baseball is going to close that loophole that the Dodgers are using right now?
Well, they're going to try, but it's ridiculous. It's not.
It has to be a CBA thing, right?
Mad at somebody for being smarter than you.
Yeah. It's tough because obviously, like, LA doesn't have great taxes either. So, like, a guy like Shohei is going to play for, 7 years, 10 years, or whatever, and then he's going to move to Texas or Florida and then pay no taxes.
Exactly. And here's the other thing that the LA has that Toronto doesn't have, that Canada doesn't have: endorsements.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you got
the
Nike and
make money off the field or out of the studio. It's okay. Same thing with New York and Chicago. You're going to pay through the nose in New York and LA.
Yeah.
But you're also not going to leave the house for less than $25,000 to go do anything.
Yeah.
Right. So is it your opinion that the Ohtani camp used the Toronto Blue Jays?
Say that?
We had a discussion a couple of weeks ago on our show that
they use him.
They use
the Blue Jays?
and have no intention.
Okay. They used everybody.
Yeah.
And this is just like the sign stealing thing.
They even used John Morosi.
They did. Well, whether he was used or not that's a story for him.
Yeah.
But agents do it. They pit one team against each other.
Yeah.
From day one, since they started this free agency thing, this journey that is free agency.
Yeah.
It's been going on since the dawn of time, and it's going to go on forever and ever, every single year. You push against this guy. You push against this guy. I did it. I was my own agent when I signed my big deal with the Jays, and I leveraged one team against the other.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to.
I think that the Dodgers are doing what they have to win a championship. But again, look at the Mets. Like you said last week, the Mets did it last year with Scherzer and Verlander. I don't think that the Dodgers really have anything proven yet. Like, Yamamoto hasn't pitched a game in the major leagues.
Nope.
Hernandez, we know what he's like when he was with the Jays. He's hot and cold. And then you got a guy like Ohtani, who's a DH right now and isn't going to pitch maybe for another year. And if he does, who knows what he's going to do?
Yeah. Yeah, here's a question for you, though, and you probably heard it asked. You may have asked it yourself. How on earth do you have the two best baseball players on the planet in your lineup, and you don't even make the playoffs?
With Trout and Ohtani.
With the Angels, yeah.
How on earth does that happen? So here's the thing. Am I convinced that either one of those guys is, good in the clubhouse, the team leader, a winner? Because clearly neither one of them have won diddly.
Yeah.
You got how many of the last 5 MVPs are those two guys? All of them?
Yeah.
Yeah. We got robbed with the Guerrero versus Ohtani one. I think Guerrero should have won that one. He hasn't been great since, but I do think, me being a baseball fan in Canada,
he disagrees.
Obviously disagrees with me. But
I'm a practical guy. Like, I literally, unless Ohtani is incarcerated, some heinous crime, the fact that he's in a non-Tommy John year, the fact that the guy's an all-star on both sides of the ball, take away his pitching, he's an all-star bat.
Yeah.
And could probably play the hell out of like some first base or right field or something.
Yeah.
He's an athlete.
I watched the documentary on him. I think it's on Prime. And like the stuff that he went through, he spent a couple years in Japan before coming to the United States because if he came to the major leagues when he did, they would have switched him to just a hitter or just a pitcher. But because he stayed in Japan, he was allowed to do both, and he developed both as a professional.
Yeah, just ask yourself this: if there was an expansion draft tomorrow and every player in the major leagues was eligible, and Ohtani was healthy and pitching, who's the first pitcher to the draft?
Well, it's Ohtani. The question marks around him are how much was
That's why he's the MVP.
Yeah,
hands down.
He's two players in one.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
Right.
You're paying $35 million for a hitter, $35 million for a pitcher. Thanks for watching the Greg and Tim Show clips. If you want, click the subscribe button right in the middle here, and then there's an episode in front of me and an episode in front of Tim. Click on them. Keep on watching. Keep on watching and share with your friends. Thanks for watching the clip.
Cheerio.
Cheerio.